This is Purple Roof Podcast and audio articles giving you the latest news and research from the green roof industry. My name is Anna Sakrisin, and this is the audio version of Oscar Warmerdam's article, Are Green Roofs True Stormwater Management Tools? Part 2. What is the difference between retention and detention? Retention is like filling up a bucket with rain, and once it's full, the water can only escape out of the bucket upward in the form of evaporation, which is water released from the soil, and transpiration, which is water released from the plant. The combined effect of evaporation and transpiration is called evapotranspiration. Once evapotranspiration has taken place, more rain fits into the bucket. Detention, however, is any water that spills over the bucket and which goes straight to the drain. Thus, the key to our problem is the element of time. How long does it take once spilled to travel to the drain? The confusion in the green roof world and in academia is when filling up the bucket during a rainstorm is labeled as detention. This is simply not correct. While it's raining, the time it takes for a relatively dry roof to become saturated is often considered detention, but it is not. The time it takes to fill up the bucket is merely the rain filling up the bucket to maximize retention. Once the bucket is full and overspills, now this is the moment detention starts on the green roof. Unfortunately, roofs are designed to facilitate water to flow off the roof in an expedited fashion. Time is minimized instead of maximized. Traditional green roofs do not detain stormwater to a substantial degree. And this is the reason that a civil engineer at the building scale still requires a second detention device in the form of a tank or sand filter or perhaps a bioretention. These work by holding the water for a limited amount of time, but every drop of detained water is indeed released, just a little bit later. Unlike a green roof, these solutions work every time, and this is why they are the preferred choice for a civil engineer at the building scale. Green roof detention explained. Detention is the process of absorbing or holding water during a storm and then slowly releasing it. Unlike retention, detention works regardless of the weather. When a detention-oriented system drains, it recharges. So a detention-oriented green roof can recharge quickly and then be ready for the next storm or the tail end of a large storm, even in dark and cloudy weather. Retention cannot do this. Retention takes weeks to recharge, and it's better, otherwise the plants would not have enough water. Detention slows the flow of water so that the hydrologic characteristics more closely resemble that of a forest, with peak runoff being delayed from peak rainfall. This is how natural detention works. In a watershed, once the soil is saturated, water starts to flow downhill. The time it takes to flow to the river or lake is determined by the following 3 factors. 1. The distance from the high to the low point, zigzags preferred. 2. The angle of the slope. 3. The lateral friction through vegetation and land-based bumps, rocks, and other imperfections. In a traditional green roof, the slope and distance to the drain are fixed. Also, because the water flows through a green roof soil profile onto the smooth slope decked almost effortlessly, unlike in nature, the water doesn't get to experience any lateral friction in the drainage layer. Adding detention to a green roof. Several companies have been researching and developing detention-oriented green roofs over the past few years. Some store water in a reservoir at the bottom of a green roof module and uses smart controls to slowly release the water through valves. Other products, similar to the above, have a built-in place assembly. These systems use plastic supports to elevate the green roof and then store water in the reservoir below the green roof above the membrane and then slowly release the water via roof drain flow restrictors. Our detention-oriented concept is called Purple Roof Plus. It is a non-proprietary specification and not a product. The plus is because we added detention but without subtracting anything else. And yeah, we could go on for a long time about everything we didn't subtract, but we'll briefly talk about that further down. But let's get back to detention. The way we added detention is by creating resistance to horizontal flow inside the drainage layer at the bottom of the profile. Not like mineral wool does, since mineral wool basically has no horizontal flow. This is all below the mineral wool and basically works similar to an aquifer. Water enters and flows slowly, but as it builds up, the resistance increases. And eventually, the water temporarily rises into the soil profile, which offers real-time detention. And, as a bonus, detention offers increased retention. It never clogs and it will continue to flow after the storm and thus gets ready for the next event. And this is quite similar to what happens in a rain garden or during bioretention. Purple Roof does all this while addressing everything else that is important about a green roof, such as plant health and good soil. Also, remember that we're adding detention without sacrificing retention. That was the end of part 2 of the article Are Green Roofs True Stormwater Management Tools by Oscar Warmerdam. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can contact us by email at info@purple-roof.com or through our website contact form. And don't forget to subscribe to us. You can find us on all the major podcast directories and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter or YouTube. My name is Oscar Warmerdam and this is Purple Roof Podcast and audio articles bringing you the latest news and research from the green roof industry.